lines. For the remaining cameras, let's try to be a little wider to build an overview of the scene. While the red man is having dialogue with the red woman, the blue man makes a comment, so that camera will need to be between these two active lines. We'll put it far enough back to capture the CEO's comments, which follow immediately after. Again, back in the dialogue between the red man and woman, the blue woman makes a comment, and with these two active lines, the camera will need to be somewhere in this area. We'll again make it wide enough to also get some facial reaction from this extra, which would otherwise have been a separate shot. Finally, this extra makes a few grimaces during the conversation. And since we're coming from the red man's dialogue, we'll put a camera here on our side of both lines. If we now take out the lines, every camera is carefully placed to be as useful as possible. This staging layout is completely tailor-made to the scene, and if the dialogue were different, we'd have to reblock it. After we've cut dialogue between the CEO and the blue woman, the CEO talks to the red man, after which he talks to the red woman. The red man makes a sudden comment, and the woman turns her attention. After this, we cut between the external reverses, which shows their seating arrangements a little clearer. Now we want to get back to the CEO as he listens to their conversation, but we need to get back inside the main triangle first. The CEO listens. And over on the woman. Now the blue woman makes a comment. The red man says something to the red woman. Now the blue man injects a comment. The red man turns to him and responds. The extra in the shot from before sends a secret signal to the blue man. The red man makes another comment. The extra at the end of the table frowns. From here, the red woman makes another comment. The CEO turns to the blue woman. And on it goes. The technique of drawing all lines in the scene and picking cameras that fit with as many lines as possible allows us to cover scenes with even an absurd number of lines. The U shape is a very typical shape, but the way we covered it had more to do with the fact that we had a lot of characters. This is why if we take out the CEO and are left with a double I shape, another typical shape, the method is the same. Or if we occupy both ends of the table in an O shape. When the characters are very close together, we have no choice but to cover them from outside the action. What we'll look at here applies equally well to any shape, but will work with the O shape because it's completely enclosed. If we removed one character, it would be a U shape, and we would have a much easier time getting inside the dialogue, maybe starting with a master here. The simplest way to cover this is to select only one, maybe two lines, and arrange all cameras according to them. Here we'll decide that the main dialogue is between the man in the suit and the red woman. So we'll put in and over the shoulder, a close-up, and a reverse close-up. We'll cover the rest of the scene as pivots on the man in the suit. For a shot on the blue characters, we'll do an over-the-shoulder 3-shot. For a shot on the red man, we'll do an over-the-shoulder. If we want some more close-ups, we can just keep adding cameras. We'll find out in editing whether or not we need to hinge in and out of this camera. All of these cameras will cut fine together, but it could be a problem cutting between these two cameras in the reverse 3-shot. Starting in the first over the shoulder, we'll cut close on the red woman. The red man inserts a comment. We go to the internal reverse on the man in the suit. Cutting to the 3-shot, we're twisting a little too much. So let's go back to the internal reverse. Cut to the over the shoulder, and then the 3-shot. We'll now use the close-up on the blue woman, again the close-up on the red woman, the over-the-shoulder on the red man, and so on. By picking one line, we're able to cover most of the scene from the outside and go inside on the same side of the line to get any extra close-ups. Probably the hardest situation to get an overview of is when characters are scattered all over the scene. The first thing to notice about this is that we'd be much better off by rearranging the characters so they wouldn't be as scattered. But assuming that they have to be exactly where they are now, our goal again is to create as few lines as possible. First, we'll consolidate all characters close to each other and treat them as one character, so for line purposes, these two will be one character, and so will these two. Secondly, we want to find the center of the scene as soon as possible. In this scene, the main dialogue is between these three characters, so that's an A shape we can cover outward from the center. If we have more specific dialogue between the red man and the man in the suit, we'll also put in two external reverses, which we'll need to hinge in and out of. In order to cover the red woman, let's treat this as an L shape and sneak over the line to get a close-up. To cover the blue woman, let's also treat this as an L shape and again sneak over the line for a close-up. That covers it, but the spatial continuity can be a little questionable because almost every shot is a close-up. What we'll do about that is first of all create overlapping groups. These three characters make up an I shape, so we'll make sure to frame this over the shoulder to include the woman in the background. We'll also frame the close-up on the red man to more fully include her in the background. Additionally, let's create a new shot on the red man that includes the blue woman in the background, which should be easy to get in and out of. Finally, let's create a master, which we're doing last in order to position it to get easily into the first close-up. This will be the first close-up, so we'll place the master here. If we had placed the master here, we would cut across a line no matter which camera we went to afterwards. So starting in the master, we cut to the close-up on the man in the suit, the external reverse on the red man, the external reverse on the man in the suit, and the close-up on the red man. To bring in the blue woman, the first shot on her includes the red man in the foreground. The man in the suit turns to her, and for this dialogue we use the close-up on her. Back on the original line, let's experiment with using the L shape to sneak over the line. As we cut to the man in the suit, the original line is clearly active, but this is where cutting across to the blue woman works just as well. The red man turns to the blue man, and we cut to the shot on him for the first time. As we go back and forth, the line is clearly between them. But even so, we can sneak over the line to the close-up on the red woman. Getting back works just as easily.